Welcome back to Banging the Can, the Houston sports podcast that does not apologize for championship rings and tings. I'm your host, Ross Bolen. I am very stoked to be back here with you today, Houston. Good to be with the Can Bangers again. So much sports to discuss. All the sports happened since we last spoke. But first on the docket today, our Houston Rockets successfully closed out the 2022 season with the worst record in the league. We fucking did it, folks. Shoot the fireworks. We are the absolute worst again for the second year in a row. That doesn't happen very often. This is special. The tank that Steven Silas and Raphael Stone built rolled strong through the finish line at 20 wins and 62 losses, edging in a non-sexual way the Orlando Magic, who finished with 22 wins, a special tank. Indeed. We did it. Last fucking place. Dead ass last. I really didn't know if we'd pull. There were weeks there where we all doubted, where we wondered, my God, will we slip from the top 3 picks? But we have locked down the number 1 worst spot, giving us the best chance possible at the number 1 pick in the draft. But more importantly, with this year's draft especially, we guarantee the Houston Rockets have a top 5 pick. We are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. That is happening. We know it now. Last year's last place yielded Jalen Green, who was the number 2 pick in the draft. And after a wobbly start to the season, he really showed us over the course of the last few weeks, especially that he certainly has superstar potential, at least on the offensive side of the ball. So now we've got a 14% chance at the number 1 pick in the draft, 13.4% chance at number 2, 12.7% chance at number 3, 12% chance at number 4, and 47.9% at number 5. So that's huge. It's huge to lock down the top 5 pick, obviously. I don't even pay attention to college basketball until March Madness starts, and I can still definitively tell you at least a couple few guys that are in those top 5 prospects in that range that I do not want. And then at least a couple guys that I would like to see in a Rockets jersey. So I'll start with Chet Holmgren. He's out. Nope. Sorry, Chet. But your name is Chet. And that is not a franchise player's name. And I can just see your gangly ass being a total bust and making me miserable for years. So nope. Not you, Chet. Move along. Also, Paolo Banchero, out. Didn't do enough. Didn't show me any grit. Everyone knows how important grit is. Paolo is a no-go for me. Sorry, Paolo. Nope. Jabari Smith. Maybe. I don't hate the idea. I don't love the idea, but I don't hate the idea. Jaden Ivey from Purdue was my guy. He was the guy that I watched out of the 5, 6, 7 dudes that were in the Sweet 16 that were really, that are going to be top 10 picks in all likelihood. He's the one that I watched and went, okay, I would like to see him playing with Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, and Kevin Porter Jr. and see how a defense handles that shit. So, admittedly, not the biggest college basketball guy. But I do feel like I have a really good feel for how college athletes look and how that game is going to translate to the NBA. And, for my 2 cents, for what it's worth, Jaden Ivey was the dude that I saw as being a pretty immediate difference maker anyway. I don't know. You never know with these guys with where their ceilings are at. Some dudes come out of college and they're as good as they're going to get, and then they bust their ass in the NBA. Some dudes come out of college and they look raw and way too skinny, almost like Kevin Durant. Not that anybody ever doubted his career in the NBA, but then they blossom into their NBA self, and it's a totally different animal, and it's just like you can't really predict that, which is why so often you have guys in the top 10 picks that don't pan out in the NBA, because it is a difficult jump. It is a difficult change in style of play for college basketball players. And I mean, for those of you who don't watch March Madness at a minimum, it is a completely different game. I mean, it is absolutely wild to me every year when I sit down and watch March Madness as a huge NBA first, NBA primarily fan. The difference in the game is astounding. It's nuts. Not just the shot clock, not just the 3-point line. It's the ball movement. It's the pace. It's everything about it is just so different. It really, when you watch March Madness, it shows why it is so difficult to judge how these guys will do in the NBA because it is such a different game. As far as where the Rockets will be at next season, regardless of who we draft, people are talking like Coach Silas's job is there's even a body of work to evaluate there. Come on. Frankly, whether or not he remains employed by the Rockets beyond next season is going to be a matter of who else is employed around the league, I think. Like, whether they see the development of the young guys as proof he's earned a shot at a real playoff run with them is going to be balanced up against who else is available around the league. That's the way it goes. That's how it is. And his job has been, to keep this team with a very low win count while developing the future of the franchise, and I think he has accomplished that. So, look, jumping from 17 to 20 wins is not exactly a massive improvement, but we didn't want massive improvement. We wanted to tank our balls off, and we did. Right? So Stephen Silas has done everything I wanted him to do so far. Like, I don't have a bad word to say about Coach. But that being said, do we really expect to be out of the basement next season? Or do we expect to be contending for a top 5 draft pick again? And I think if you're being realistic, I mean, it's easy to look at the talent on the floor and get really excited and go, yeah, no, you know what? Next year we're going to be in a play-in game. It's like, no. I mean, look, we've had Jalen Green out there balling night in, night out for a few weeks now, dropping 40 points in the final game of the season, really raising his average scoring per game to, I think he almost, I didn't see the final Orlando Magic game last night or whoever the person he's competing with for the rookie scoring title, but I think he almost got there. He may have, in terms of being the highest scoring rookie, Jalen Green. So, I mean, it's easy to look at all that and think, yeah, we're gonna really take off next year. We don't want to take off next year. I mean, even when he was balling like that, we were getting smacked around. We have nothing going defensively. We've got athletic guys who seem dedicated to getting better on defense, but we've only got a couple of dudes who can really throw down on D, and we're going to need a rim protector of some kind, or we're going to need Alperin to develop more defensively. That's going to be vital. I mean, this team is still very, very young. And another important note for Rockets fans to remember as we close out this year, it's not even close to its final form. We have a lot of pieces to play with. At least a few veterans to move. John Wall needs to go. Christian Wood needs to go. I don't know if I want Eric Gordon to go, but I don't see how he makes any sense on the rebuild. So again, why wouldn't you move? I have the same questions about the roster that I had before the trade deadline, right? And I get why they didn't make moves at this trade deadline. Clearly, we didn't even need to. We still got the number 1 spot, as I'm putting it, but the worst spot in the league, the worst record in the league. But you've got these valuable pieces that are not going to be as valuable moving forward. Guys that are older like Eric Gordon and John Wall. And then you've got Christian Wood, who simply isn't a fit if you're looking to develop Jalen Green and you're looking to develop Alperen Sengun. Did you see what happened to Jalen Green's shot attempts when Christian Wood was removed from the lineup? Whew. Started getting Kobe Bryant comparisons. And let me just say, calm the fuck down, psychos. What is with you? It's one season, and everybody wants to get comps. We need comps for everything, like it's the fucking real estate market. You don't need comps. It's not enough of a body of work to evaluate. Same argument as I would make with Coach Silas. He's not even playing with a real fucking team yet. He's hoisting the ball up like an Allen Iverson number of times a game. And I get where you want the Kobe comparison, and I've seen some of the moves where I go, okay, I can see it. I can see it. You know, I guess in the same way that I see a little bit of Michael in most of the good players in the league. because they all modeled their games after him. You know what I mean? It's like, let's not get, that is a dangerous game you're playing, my friends who want to say Jalen Green looks like Kobe Bryant, a young Kobe Bryant. Like, have you learned nothing? Sports, you want to set the bar as low as you can. Low bar. Compare him to Milicic. Low bar. Darko, whatever is it. Low bar, not a high bar. High bar, bad. Low bar, good. This is sports, not life. Life is crushing enough. Sports, you don't want to get crushed. Keep the bar low. Don't get crushed. Jalen Green looked all right. That's as far as I'll go with it. Kobe Bryant? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Are you trying to destroy his mental health? Give the kid a chance. Now he's got to run out there every day next year going, people think I'm the next Kobe. Let's not. Can we just not? Let's just fucking not. He will be changing to number 4 next season, Jalen Green, which is cool. But let's just fucking not. Anyway, I'm excited to see, I'm excited to see what he can become based on this last couple months. I would like him to work on defense. We don't need to go through another 3 years of having a top scoring player who gets embarrassed on the defensive side of the ball with a degree of regularity that stains his reputation for years and causes YouTube clips to be made. Like, we don't need that experience again. So, and I think he's got a little bit more athleticism and length than, say, a James Harden did to play defense with, and seemingly more get up and go to him. He's a little more of a hustler than James was in terms of grinding for the ball. You know what I mean? Like, Harden is more of like Mr. Cool, smooth player dude, whereas like Jalen is getting after it, right? Like, you see the hustle, you see the effort, you see the energy, and you see the care. Like, he cares, and that's what you need for defense to be a big piece of your game. So hopefully he can develop defensively. All in all, I mean, what we saw this year from Kevin Porter Jr. in particular, what a standout. I mean, people are talking about, do we do an extension, or do we wait another season? What the fuck is wrong with you? You people are so willing. Like, this is why people have relationship problems. Y'all do not make good decisions when it comes to commitment. You just don't. We're sports fans, and it's a problem because we're operating too similarly in the two realms, relationships and sports. This is fucking insane. You do not take a stock you bought low. Let's take it to the market now. And just because it's performing well as you hoped it would does not mean you then throw your whole fucking life savings onto that stock. You go on a couple good dates, you don't propose. The hell is wrong with you? Take your time. Slow your fucking roll. Kevin Porter Jr. didn't have a spot-free season. He still had some drama. There was still some issues. He's still maturing. Granted, I was incredibly impressed with what I saw, but let's not be irresponsible. Extension. Get the fuck out. No. Next season. After next season. Wait. Thank you. But all in all, I would say the fuse was successfully lit. This was a very enjoyable, albeit loss-heavy Rockets season. And that is hard to accomplish. It's hard to make it fun to watch and also make sure you get that top 5 pick. And they did it. They did it. That was more fun to watch than some of the Daryl Morey 8th seed teams. It was. Because of the dunks and the alley-oops and the passes and watching, getting to see 20-year-olds develop into 21-year-olds. You know what I mean? Even if it's baby steps that we saw, we got to see them. And it's been a minute as a Rockets fan since I really got to watch a young, raw talent turn into an NBA star. And we have at least a few guys on the roster right now with a chance to really, really do that as they take the next step next season. And, yeah, the fuse was lit. It's lit! Extreme Travis Scott voice. Too soon? Today's episode of Banging the Can is brought to you by Liquid IV. I drink Liquid IV every morning after most workouts, when I go run. These things keep me hydrated in the hot-ass Texas weather. I was going to say summer, but it's most of the year, man. We don't have a spring. It's just winter, then bam, it's summer, and you're sweating your balls off and forgetting to drink enough water. Well, one stick of Liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates faster and more efficiently than water alone. Liquid IV has incredible hydration flavors like watermelon, lemon lime, strawberry, pina colada, and more. They contain 5 essential vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C, with 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks. Made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. The science of cellular transport technology is what makes Liquid IV so effective. It's designed to enhance rapid absorption of water and other key ingredients into the bloodstream. Liquid IV is also on a mission to change the world. They've donated over 19 million servings globally to help out with hydration worldwide. Grab Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code ROSS at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you use promo code ROSS, R-O-S-S, at liquidiv.com. Experience better hydration today at liquidiv.com, promo code ROSS. The Masters took place this weekend. Congratulations to Scotty Scheffler and the University of Texas for their biggest win in a while. They now have the most Masters winners. Longhorns, congratulations. Not a big Longhorn guy, I'll admit that. UT fans that are listening. I'm not a big Longhorn fan. I'm not a big Aggie fan either. I'm also just not a big fan of Dallas or Highland Park, where Scotty Scheffler went to high school. How many fucking Masters winners does Highland Park High School have? Anyway, but the bigger news of the sports weekend to me was the return of baseball. As fun as it was to watch Tiger back out there again. Baseball being back was much bigger to me. And the Astros took their first series of the season 3-1 as the Angels struggled on really both sides of the ball. But God, it felt good after the lockout and all the bullshit and all the Carlos Correa negativity when he walked. It just felt good. Really, to be honest with you, the person I am most proud of, because Altuve's kind of struggled with the first series here. He didn't hit the ball well. Didn't play last night, obviously, in the closeout game, but Alex Bregman, a guy that we were all looking forward to seeing take the turn the corner into a superstar, really, and become the leader or one of the really faces of the franchise, right? He had a rough playoffs, man. He had a rough postseason last year, and he didn't really look like himself, and you could see he had a hard time, and it seemed like all the hate and the 2017 cheater chanting really got to his head. More than most, it seemed like it. And Bregman has finally looked more like himself again. Looks like he's having fun again. Starts life, in the post-Carlos Correa Astros era. 6 hits, 2 home runs, drives in 6 RBIs in our first 4 games. Huge. Obviously, his biggest hit was the 2-out, 2 RBI single off Austin Warren last night. Happy. That's the word I'd use. Happy to see Bregman back out there swinging the stick, looking like the cocky Bregs of old. Because we need that dude back. We talked about how Correa was sort of the heart and soul of the team when it came to the attitude that the Astros had, right? That swagger. And Bregman is that dude when he wants to be, when he's in the right headspace to be. But he's got to be in that headspace. Last year during the postseason, he noticeably was not. So good to see him coming out, getting a hot start there. I will say, the Astros, outside of having the positive things to say about the good, 3-1, excuse me, start to the season, they released their Astros City Connect uniforms, these Space City uniforms, and I gotta say, these aren't for me. I've seen a lot of praise from Astros fans on Twitter in particular. Look, man, I've had enough of these City Edition Nike money grab jerseys. These are not great. they're a little fun. That's the nicest thing I can say about them. Wow, those are fun. Nobody calls Houston Space City, dude. We just don't. Like, do you know any Houstonians who actively refer to Houston as Space City? We call it Clutch City. We call it H-Town. We call it H-Town. We call it a lot of fucking things. But we do not call it Space City. The city of syrup. You want to put that on a jersey, I can get down with it. But I don't know what the fuck. This is just giving too much credence to NASA, which, frankly, has kind of had a lame reputation over the last several years and is having to be bailed out by the private sector. So I don't really know, like, what to make of the Space City jerseys. Fun? Yes. They're not great. Is this getting me to buy a hat? Nope. Am I buying a jersey? No, I'm not. I'm not buying those socks. This looks like a Miami jersey. That's what this is. That's what bothers me about it. The tequila sunrise thing is being overdone. Everything about this makes me sick. The more I talk about it, the more disgusted I become. I don't like them, is what I'm saying. So I hope they don't wear them very often, is also what I'm saying. I don't know how often they're supposed to wear them. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just had to give my take in a setting where there can be no feedback or argument, which is, I'm the only person with a microphone in this room. So if you have something else to say, oh, Ross, you're being a hater, they're cool, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. Don't come at me on Twitter. I don't care anymore. I have no reason to further discuss the Space City Connect uniforms. They suck. That is my final take. Anyway, we play again, tomorrow? Tuesday night. Luis Garcia, 2-game interleague series with the Arizona Diamondbacks. By the way, one of the coolest moments of the Angels series was Astros shortstop, rookie Jeremy Pena, hitting his first home run as his parents were being interviewed on television. That was awesome. And now we see why the Astros let Carlos Correa walk. I think it really only took one series for the majority of Astros fans who were disappointed to see Carlos Correa go to kind of realize, we're probably going to be okay. Jeremy Pena's been awesome. And what can you say? What can you say? When you see the whole lineup and all the boys back out there, you're just like, oh, yeah, no, we're pretty stacked. Yeah, I get it. Look, if you have the next generation on deck, you don't overpay for guys that are deeper. You don't. I mean, look, last thing I'll say about Carlos Correa. We saw him hit his first home run as a Minnesota Twin. It was disgusting. I hope he's happy out there. I know the money is worth it for sure in some way, shape, or form, even if it's generationally and not for him. But that's a lot of money. I'm happy for the guy. He earned it. It is what it is, but we clearly don't need Carlos Correa. And that kind of pains me to say that. But we clearly don't need Carlos Correa. We want Carlos Correa. Wanted Carlos Correa. We don't need him. And now we've seen that definitively through just one series. It's like, oh, yeah. No, we've got a lot of talent. It's easy to forget about some of the guys. It's easy to forget about how good Kyle Tucker is. Right? He's just not... Like, you look at Carlos Correa and you go, I'm terrified. And you look at Kyle Tucker as a baseball player and you go, who's this fucking guy? Is this goober? That guy's going to hit a home run off me? I don't think so. It's just a huge difference in presentation to the two, in swagger to the two. So it's easy to have Carlos in your mind when you think of, like, the Astros crushing it. You don't put Kyle Tucker up there, but he should be up there. He should be. He's gotten better every year. Last year he was fucking great, and now he's off to a hot start again. It's just like, yeah, we're stacked, man. I think we'll be okay. By the way, for the second consecutive season, the Astros have the most internationally born players in the league with a total of 16. on their roster. A total of 275 players represent 21 different countries and territories outside of the 50 United States on the 2022 opening day rosters and inactive lists, Major League Baseball announced. The total of 275 international players, which comes with an increased player pool due to an expanded 28-man active roster, marks the second most all-time on opening day rosters behind only 2020. And the 275 players born outside the U.S. come from a total pool of 975 players. It's 28.2% of the league. And we, the Astros, have the highest number with 16 on our roster. And a lot of that, it turns out, in a lot of what I read over this past couple weeks, is it's because of Yuli. Mr. Gurriel. Yuli Gurriel. Now I can't say his name, but La Piña. He is our Cuban connection. And as a result, he's like a god in Cuba, man. And then now we have all these Cubans. We got to be the most popular team in Cuba outside of Miami, right? We got to be. Look at this fucking roster. It's crazy. Love that, though. Love the international. You want your teams to represent your city. Houston is the most diverse city in the United States of America. It makes sense that our baseball team be the most diverse in the league. I'm not even sure it is, though. It might just be the most Cuban. Either way, it's fucking awesome. God, I missed it. I'm the age now, man. I'm 34. I'm the age where baseball games, the pace of their play fits into my... I'm talking regular season baseball games now fits into my day-to-day life. It makes sense. I just want to be bored and fall asleep. Please, God, give me something to watch that's peaceful and entertaining, that ends with me napping, not crying. And that's what baseball brings. It's not what football brings. It's not what basketball brings right now for me. It's what baseball brings. The Texans and Rockets are there's just a lot of pain there. Here, there's potential, baby, for happiness, and I'm happy to start the year off. Win the first series, move on to the next one. Diamondbacks on deck. In other sports news, the Titans actively working to make Oilers throwbacks possible in 2023. Look, I know if you're a Titans fan, you're watching on TikTok right now or whatever, and you're like, we triggered you. Shut the fuck up. This is pathetic. This doesn't even make sense. It's like when Kanye showed up in a Canadian flag suit. You're not from there. That's just not your flag. Those aren't your jerseys. That's not your fucking team. You don't have any connection to the Oilers. That's our team. You think a lot of people think of Tennessee and think of oil derricks and drilling for oil? That's our thing. What the fuck is wrong with you? This is ours. You can't take this from us. You can put it on your hats. You can put it on your jerseys. You can put it on your stupid fucking helmets. It's not going to change the fact that now you're just running around representing Houston. That doesn't make any sense. Fucking Tennessee. Jackasses. It says, since the NFL instituted a new helmet rule that would allow teams to wear a secondary helmet to match with throwback jerseys, Tennessee Titans fans have been clamoring for the team to wear the old Houston Oilers setup. And I would note, it says Houston Oilers setup. It appears the wheels are in motion for that to happen. While down at the owners' meetings this week, Titans controlling owner Amy Adams Strunk, it's Bud Adams' daughter, I believe, revealed that the team is actively working to bring the jerseys back in the near future. Quote, Oilers history is Titans history. We know our fans feel passionately about showcasing that legacy on game day, and we're actively working to make throwback jerseys possible in the near future. Stay tuned, Amy Strunk explained. If all goes to plan, the Titans will wear light blue jerseys from the Love Ya Blue era with white breeches with an Oilers helmet. Because of league stipulations, the earliest combination could be worn, however, is 2023, and that's what the franchise is shooting for. Stay tuned for more big updates down the road, it says. Fuck that. No, I'm serious. It really doesn't make any sense. I don't, look, it's, as an Oilers fan, that's my childhood, right? That's me watching football with my dad before I really knew what was happening even, right? And as a Houston diehard, just in terms of like my devotion to my home city, right? I love the logo. The Oilers will always represent something to me as a Houston fan. Seeing another team wear those jerseys is not going to hurt my feelings. I'm not one of those people. I'm not triggered by the concept. It's just pathetic to me. That's not your fucking culture. It's just not. It's just not. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I don't know why the fuck. There's not many things dumber than this. One of them is that the Utah Jazz exist, right? The Jazz, which originated in New Orleans, didn't change their stupid name when they went to fucking Utah, is insane. That's how crazy Tennessee wearing Oilers jerseys would be. It just doesn't make sense. Like, if the Astros wear Colt 45s jerseys, the Colt 45s were in the same city, so there's an identity there. You see? Now, if Tennessee Titans wear Houston Oilers jerseys, where is the identity? Who the fuck? What, are you telling me there are a bunch of Titans fans who look back at Warren Moon and they're like, that was our guy? That doesn't even make sense. They look back at the Love You Blue era and they're like, I can feel the nostalgia. No, what? What? How? No. I don't know who they were rooting for at that point. I just know it wasn't the Oilers. That doesn't make any sense. But you can take our old shit, I guess, and throw it on your jerseys if it makes you feel cool. I know it's smart from a marketing perspective. I'll admit that. They're going to move units. For sure. But the Titans using the Oilers throwback is on some fucking identity theft. Like, what? Come on, man. They need to sell that right back to the Texans. I know Cal McNair isn't savvy or anywhere near cool enough to go do that, but that's what he should be doing. Buy back the fucking Oilers color scheme and logo, man. That would be worthwhile. But the Titans jockeying our swag for the sake of merch sales is weak. Now, will I buy some? No, because Mitchell and Ness exists, and they already make Oilers gear. So, actually, in second thought, it's not even smart from a merch perspective. And how's all that work? And that must be what they're still working on, because I bet you there's a bunch of complicated legal shit here. But nonetheless, the point remains. This is a loser move. Y'all are some sad boys because this shit's not working out, huh? No Super Bowl with Derrick Henry, huh? So you're gonna jock our old logo? That's fucking weak. How about you take our current one? We don't give a shit about that. Let's fucking trade. Y'all can have the stupid bull and take the name even. Hell, you can be the Tennessee Texans. That makes more sense somehow. Still such a shitty name. I still can't believe they picked Texans. It was honestly fucking inevitable that the team would suck balls and break all of our hearts when these people couldn't come up with something better than Houston Texans. Did you know the Dallas Texans were a thing at one point? Maybe we don't have a leg to stand on here. Because the Dallas Texans were an NFL team for one season in 1952. They went 1-11 and are considered one of the worst teams in NFL history, both on and off the field. They were based in Dallas, but later based in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and Akron, Ohio during their only one season. How the fuck? We got to change our name. It's just, we got to start over. Buy back the Oilers name, start over. That's my idea, and that's the end of today's show. Thank you all for being here today. Make sure you tell your Houston sports friends and family about Banging the Can. Follow us on TikTok at Banging the Can, on Instagram at Banging the Can, on Twitter at Banging the Can. Hit bolenmedia.com/shop to grab a Banging the Can dad cap or t-shirt. Support our sponsor, Liquid IV. Go to liquidiv.com. Get 25% off when you check out using code ROSS. I am Ross Bolen at WRBOLEN on Twitter and Instagram. My company is Bolen Media, based out of Austin, Texas, and I will be back soon, Houston. Until then, H-Town, stay down.